We're back again with another Fnatic collab with Lamzu. So first you get this awesome box, still my favourite out of all of them. Extra feet, grips, braided cable, although not very flexible. Wouldn't recommend playing with it, but you can if you get caught between charges. And the mouse. So let's do a shape tour. Solid shell, holes in the bottom as usual for them, and the shape is pretty standard. Imagine the G Pro Wireless with the hump more toward the middle, and less gradual in slope. Actually, you could think of this as a smaller G Pro Wireless, but with the sides changed. Instead of being slightly concave, they're very slightly convex, so they have a slight bulbous feel to them, where they push out against your thumb and fingers. That means no little edge down the bottom either, which would have helped with downward force, but also doesn't feel as good, so I get why they didn't put that there. The back flows out a little bit for thumb and little finger comfort. It's a symmetrical design, so it's never going to be as comfortable as asymmetrical, but that said, they've done pretty well anyway. My criticism of this shape would be that it's a bit too generic. It's fairly safe and easy to use, it's good, but it feels like it hasn't been designed in a human hand. That bulbous feel probably made sense when you're working with it in 3D, but not in fingers. So instead of nice curves, we kind of have bulbous sides and top. It's not bad, but it could be better. Moving on to specs and dimensions, the standard size is about 46 grams. These won't be exact measurements, so grip width 5.6, length 11.85 centimeters, height 3.72, and button height 1.83. For hand size recommendations, it's not that big, so under 17.5 centimeters for palm, and claw and fingertip, I'd say between 18 and 20 centimeters. And the X version, so the larger size is 48 grams, length 12.45, grip width 5.93, height 3.93, and button height 1.98. For hand size recommendations, it's of course bigger, so palm under 19 centimeters, and claw and fingertip I'd say 19.5 to 22. It's kind of similar to the Finimouse Ultralight X Tiger, but a bit bigger, maybe more like the Zowie FK1 Plus. And a reminder to remove the plastic on the feet. I only got this size to check dimensions, so I haven't actually used it. I played with the smaller one, which is another reminder. I always recommend using smaller mice if you can, as I think they're easier to aim. Here's the standard version next to some other mice for an idea of the size. The X would be closer to the Death Adder in this case, and testing sensor in game was all good as you'd expect these days. My only issue in game was the usual limbo jumps, but that's on all mice. Had a few extra on this one. I hope the mouse industry figures that out. So moving on to the buttons, here's a listen to the clicks. Left and right have a sharp sound to them and kind of loud. They're okay though. The wheel is fairly quiet and good, other than the limbo jumps, and the side buttons are pretty loud too, with a bit too much travel distance, but the click is pretty good. And latency seemed low in the bump test, maybe 1 or 2 milliseconds compared to the Death Adder. For build quality, despite the low weight, it's very well made. No creaks, cracks or rattles. The materials feel pretty good too, matte plastic, seemed fine for grip. I can't really see or feel much texture on it, very smooth. For software, download Crystal Wireless from the website. Pretty standard in there. As for where it ranks, well, it's a generic safe shape, but being safe and low weight, it will kick it up a bit. So I'm going to rank this highly for now, because it has everything right, but I would love to see some new and interesting shapes. That's the state of the mouse industry right now. You basically just need to know dimensions, hand size recommendations and how the buttons sound and feel. The performance is good on most mice now, and the shapes are basically becoming all the same, so there isn't much difference. Which also means there's no real reason to choose one over the other than the price. So this isn't good news for us. Competition is good, but no one is just on price. So I'll leave that up to you to see what you can find in your country, but I really want to start seeing some more interesting shapes. Thanks to Fnatic for sending this out, and to Lamzu. All thoughts are my own of course. Usual links below, sub, like and share. Catch up.